On this episode of Blue Zoo TV, presented by Hikari, we continue our tour of the PPG Aquarium.
Fish love frozen foods that are full of the nutrition they need and not freezer burned. Hikari BioPure offers the world's only frozen foods that are gut-loaded with bio-encapsulated multivitamins and packaged for maximum freshness. Our no-touch, mess-free cube packs offer portions that are easy to adjust and keeps the food completely airtight and in optimum condition. Gone are the days of having to rinse the food before feeding, because Hikari BioPure is packed in pure, fresh water, making it the world's cleanest frozen food.
So Bob, we came from the propagation room, and now you're going to show us in this Pacific Reef display some of the corals that you've kind of placed. First of all, how big is this tank?
This tank is 1,500 gallons, and like you said, it is our Pacific Reef tank. It is, as all reef tanks are, a work in progress, so there's a lot of things that I'm trying to beef up in here. One of the ways I'm doing that is by using corals that are propagated in the back and to bring them out here.
Great idea.
One example is the Poecilopora that I showed you that is a brooder that are growing on the tiles. This red one right up here is a Poecilopora coral that was propagated here.
When you placed it, obviously, like you said, with a reef tank, you have to kind of think ahead because things are going to grow. Did you plan it to get like that in that corner? Did you specifically pick that spot for it?
I did. I picked that spot for it because it had a lot of room to grow. There's nothing really close around it that's going to harm it, and that's why I picked that area for it. And also, was trying to get some more color up in this corner of the tank as well. We have an Acropora right underneath of it. It's a Acropora valida that was propagated in the back as well, and put out right underneath of it. This one right here to the right of it is one of our bubble corals. It's a Plerogyra, and it's quite a large one. It's actually budding itself right now and undergoing asexual reproduction. You can see what we call extratentacular budding is that big piece that's coming off the bottom of it. Looks like a separate coral. It's starting to bud off of it.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff right here. Right above it, the yellow one is a Parietes cylindrica coral. Some of the more common ones you see in the reef industry, the bright green one in the middle is a Hydnophora, and right underneath of it, we have a toadstool leather coral, which you see a lot in the hobby industry as well. So lots of different stuff happening right in this area. This big area is set aside for the big clam.
Ah,
so
the
that
big clam
is going to come out on exhibit. It's going to go into this kind of nook right here is where it's going to go.
It's almost, if you look at it, it's almost like a perfect shelf for it. It has
Yeah.
supports all around it, and it should sit there real nicely.
Yep, I kind of made it that way. Right now, I'm just trying to get a couple of fish out of here that I know are going to be problematic with it before I move the clam on exhibit.
Now, to the right of the tank, you have a couple different species. Talk a little bit about those.
The right of the tank, we have a Turbinaria peltata right here in the middle. Right above it, Monopora capricornis, another big toadstool leather coral, Sarcophyton. We have some Euphilia over here. This is a Pacific Gorgonian right here that was also propagated in the back. Echinopora is the big plating, kind of purple-looking coral. Up on the top, that's a Echinopora lamellosa. We also have some star corals over here, star polyps. A Pavona in the midst of that.
Now, all these corals will continue to grow, some at different paces, but they never really stop growing. They're much like fish almost, right? They just keep growing.
That's right. As long as you give them everything that they need to be able to grow and be healthy. In other words, you give them the right amount of light, the right amount of water flow, the right amount of dissolved nutrients in the water. A big one is calcium. As long as you give them all the things they need to grow, they will keep growing.
Cordon's Novaqua Plus detoxifies chlorine and toxic metals while adding a protective skin slime coating, echinacea, and natural electrolytes and vitamins. Cordon's superior water conditioning products help make fish keeping easy. Visit Cordon.com and check out the entire line of products and ask for Cordon products at your favorite store. Cordon, trusted solutions since 1961.
So we've gone from the Pacific to the Caribbean, and only in my lifetime can I only walk down the street and be in a different setting but not really feel the warmth. So Bob, explain a little bit about the Caribbean reef to us, because you've got some really cool corals going on here.
Yeah, there's a lot of neat stuff happening in here. This is our 1,800-gallon Caribbean reef tank, and one of the things that that's really special about this is that the Caribbean is in a lot of trouble. Their corals are in a lot of trouble. And what I'm trying to do with this exhibit is show people some of the beauty that is in the Caribbean, some of the corals that are down there, and try to get across a bit of a conservation message to them by exhibiting them in a more natural setting like this. One of the things you see in here there's a lot of the soft corals that are down there, a lot of gorgonians. A lot of these corals will get very large in the wild. This one right here in the front is it's called Pseudopterygorgia. It's actually the sea plume. This is a smaller version of it, but they do get very, very large. I've seen colonies much, much larger than me for sure out in the wild. When these guys get big, what I do is I actually clip and propagate them as well, just like I do with the stony corals. It's a little bit different process, but much the same way. And a lot of the corals in here were actually clipped from other ones in here and made more of them so that it starts to fill in a little bit.
When you clip something from this tank, do you necessarily put it right back in the tank, or does it go into the propagation room to grow a little bit?
It's a little bit of both. Right now I'm putting them right back into the tank. If you look up in the back over here, you see these little fingers sticking up. Those were actually clipped off of a bigger coral and put right back there so that they can start to grow.
We talk about the conservation side, and not every time when we look at corals do we think of conservation, but you guys have really taken it another step, haven't you? And really have gotten involved more in the conservation side with the marine life.
We definitely have. One of the things we're involved with is called Project SEACOR, and SEACOR stands for Sexual Coral Reproduction. And every year, for the last 3 years, I've gone down to the Caribbean and spent a few weeks. And what we do is we collect gametes from threatened and endangered corals as they spawn for their once-a-year spawning. What we do with those gametes is fertilize them in the lab, grow out the larvae, settle the larvae, and actually try to grow them out a little bit in tanks and then outplant them back out onto their coral reef. These are incredibly important. They make a lot of habitat for countless other animals that live in and amongst the coral reefs. They protect our coastlines as well from erosion. Some of the things that are threatening these corals are global warming, climate change, ocean acidification, even deforestation contributes to the death of these corals by causing much more sedimentation to pour out onto the reef and snuff the corals out from getting the light they need to get the energy from their symbionts.
So if people want to find out more about the conservation program, how can they do it?
Yeah, actually, we get that a lot. Okay, we want to know more, we want to learn how we can help. One of the ways is you can go to secor.org. It's www.secore.org. And on that website, it outlines a lot of the work we've been doing down in the Caribbean. But there's also a spot where you can go and learn how you can help.
Hikari Excel is the world's premier color-enhancing diet scientifically designed for your prized koi. Not only is Hikari Excel high in pure cultured spirulina to promote rapid color enhancement and wheat germ for outstanding conditioning of the skin, it also contains nutrients to support a healthy immune system. Hikari Excel's floating pellets never cloud the water. Keep your koi and other pond inhabitants beautiful and healthy. Hikari Excel, simply the best.
So this is a work in progress. Are you ever going to be satisfied? Is it going to be 10 years from now? But there's always something that you can find that you can put in there and grow, right?
I'll be satisfied when I see less corals dying and more corals reproducing in the wild. This is just a way or an avenue for me to show people how beautiful these reefs are and teach them how to better conserve them, teach them how important they are. But they're always a work in progress. I'm constantly figuring out ways I can do better, make them grow faster, propagate more of them, make it look more natural so that people get the most out of these exhibits and learn as much as they possibly can.
Bob, you did a great job showing us all the great unique displays you have, the propagation, some interesting stuff on the marine side. I think we should go look around a little more.
Sounds good.
We'll be back with Blue Zoo TV presented by Hikari as we continue our tour of the PPG Aquarium. To learn more about the show or to email us, go to bluezootv.com.